Greetings and welcome to everyone to the Precious Treasure Immortality series. I am Ast Maat Tf Nut, and at this time I will speak my Hesi so that before the ancestors and the Ptah Asar and the ancient ones, I am seen as true of voice, to be victorious and righteously great, to command the cosmic forces that allows me love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter, so that my libation, my Hesi, my Saku affirmation is splendor to their ears. Hetepu, Duwa, Duwau, a Nezarek Ramech, Hotep. Greetings and divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families, and to all of you here today joining us for the Precious Treasure Immortality series, segment 7. Also to my Nagas, Shemsahurus, Nesubitis, Mut Natarts, Sba-t, Hamets, the immortal ones of Ma'at cherished, phenomenon of precession, new age order, great golden age of Ma'at Tf Asar, and to all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley Cultural Cosmic Collective Consciousness, spirituality. O Ra Never Teshu Ra, the he, she, the mother, father of all existence, master and possessor of light and radiation, heat and movement. We ask that you bless us humble servants for Ankh life being now present, for we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Ma'atian ways and ancient Ma'atian truths. We strive evermore to become one with you in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 69th Haru after the helical rising, 291 Haru remaining until Ubin Saptit Cyrus rising, Upuwat Samai Tawi, Weprin Pet Digit Heb, the 33rd Haru, the 2nd Abet of Renunet, the 4th Haru of Hapi, the 9th day, 3rd Abet, 1st season of Shamu. Renpet, year number 10, AFNK/ST, after founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samai Tawi, phenomenon of precession, new age order, great golden age of Ma'at Tf Asar. And to all, excuse me, we ask that you bless our families and friends and all those of us who gather together to worship in your most holy, sacred, and glorious ancient Tamarian name of Ra Never Teshu Ra, rising always in divine excellence with Ma'at, all day, every day, Panatara Pu Pama'at, Ankh Was Dejed, Ankh Ujasaneb, Ubin Nefer Iker, Duwau. And so I just received a message from my Sba-t Ptah Asar. He will be here shortly. So I'm going to, of course, continue, and he'll be here. Now, so I'm going to address those who are here who have left comments. First, to my sharer, he says he's not an admin. Abdiel Ben Levi El from YouTube speaks peace to the family. Let's get the build on. Peace, Hotep, Duwau, definitely Seba. And Ra'el Sankofa from Facebook is here as well again, and I appreciate you being here. Peace and love, family. is the greetings from Facebook, and peace, Queen, peace to you as well. So today we are streaming live on my Facebook page, Joy Allen. We are also streaming live on my Facebook business page, Ast Maat Tf Nut. And on that page, as well as the YouTube channel with the same name, those two platforms, pages, areas will only be discussing the calendar, the Ancient Khemetic Rasaurian Calendar, and we will be only on those two Ast Maat Tf Nut pages, Facebook and YouTube, be sharing with you how to use your calendar once you receive it. If you already have it, that's great. You'll follow along with us. And with that being said, briefly, I want to share there is a Facebook business page as well that's just been launched. The admins are Ptah Asar, but on Facebook he's Ptah Asar. Also, Ramutef Queb is an admin, and I am an admin as well. And that is the Nagaship Association Telecommunications Multimedia page. And it's long, so you can type RSGUT in the search, and the page should come up. So this segment, as well as the previous Precious Treasure Immortality series segments, in the description below, you will see the links to the previous segments and related videos. From this point on, until an update is needed, as now, all of the videos will be in the page that I just mentioned on Facebook, and as well as definitely a big source of videos available to you, mostly, of course, presented by my Ptah Asar. So for this video, future videos, past videos, and many more, go to the Nagaship Association Telecommunications Multimedia page. Again, type in the search box RSGUT. It should come up there somewhere. Either way, you'll see the three of us, me, Ptah Asar, and Ramutef Queb in the cover photo, and then you know you're in the right place. And if I have a moment later, I'll share that with you as well. Peace and love to Kaibu from YouTube. I appreciate you being here. She's precious to me. She's precious. One of my precious treasures. Michael Phoenix from YouTube speaks peace. Kim Stewart is here again. She speaks Ashe. I speak peace to you. Hotep Dua Duawu Hamet. She's speaking from YouTube. So on to the platforms we're streaming on. Of course, also my YouTube page, The Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty. That is the page where I started, and everything for me just went in different directions from there. So that page I will always be streaming to as well. And we are also on my Twitter account today, MKDTNT. You can follow me over there, as well as Instagram, and subscribe and follow and check me out in a number of other places. So let's see here, what's next. Last segment, I streamed live outside on my cell phone and experience. If you have time, definitely check out that video. I was out there with Ra, the sun. I had on this angle, then I moved. It was on this. It was beautiful, and I spoke my Hesi. It was a great experience. And Leslie is here again. Peace to you, Hamet Hotep. She speaks peace, Queen, from YouTube. I appreciate you, Leslie, always here with me, and definitely gratitude to you. Yeah, so in that segment, I recap the days, because people, we get these calendars and we don't know the days, the months. So I did those in short and brief, so everyone could look at segment 6 for the days that are in your calendar. And the days are right here. So you have Ra and Jehuti and Seb and Ast and Mesta and Quebsanef, Hapi, Quebsanef, Twa Tef, and Haru. So all of those are in there, as well as the months. We went over the months, which is, hold on, my camera's backwards, so I'm working backwards. Jehuti is month 1. We're in month Renunut. You would have heard me say Renunut in my Hesti that I just spoke. And this is Renunut right here. This is the month number 2. And I also spoke about how the calendar, the year starts July 25th. That's the Renpet, the new year, not January 1st, according to the Gregorian calendar most of us follow. So again, this segment, this series that I have put together is an effort to assist everyone with converting, moving over, shifting, changing lanes, and no longer being Hellenized, lobotomized, as my Ptah Asar will speak when he gets here, and to assist everyone with knowing that there are 9 days in a week. There are 10 months in a calendar. And that history in brief is in the back of the calendar, which I read in segment 6. And some of that account goes to Julius Caesar and Augustus Caesar, hence July and August. And how Nove means 9, but it's the 11th month, and Oct means 8, but it's the 10th month, and December Dece means 10, but it's the 12th month, etc., etc. So with all those things considered, get you the Ancient Khemetic Rasaurian Calendar. This is a 3-in-1 solar sidereal lunar calendar. This is the 2020 through 2021 calendar year for the Gregorian calendar section. And this is the Crumb TV edition. So go to Crumb TV on YouTube, check out my humble brother Crumb. He is also a Sba of the Holy House of Ra, Tesha Para. And again, Renpet year is number 10. It is not 2020, 2021. So also we spoke about this legend on the back, the Rasaurian legend here, and spoke about the zodiac, which is on the outside here, and the seasons and the months and the days again. We answered a few questions from the audience, and we have a few. Now the thing was, segment 6, Ptah Asar was late, and we had anticipated that he would answer questions from segment 5. Segment 5, we had a calendar giveaway. I think we gave away like 4 calendars. We plan to give away some on this series. So stand by, open your ear, get out your pen and pencil, write down some notes, because we're going to be giving the answers to the questions today so that you can receive calendar as well for yourself. With receiving the calendar, you're answering the question correctly during the broadcast. We will notify you during the show that you will receive the calendar. Be prepared to provide us with your mailing address so you can receive your calendar. Be prepared to also provide us with your email address so that we can send you the free PDF of the Cosmic Egg. And so that we could also send you the audio. It has been on CD, but we've moved and switched to the MP3 so that a lot of people don't have CD players or their system's not compatible with the CD. So we have it now where you can just open your phone, click it, and listen to it. So that's some housekeeping here. So free calendar, answer the question right during the broadcast. Be prepared to provide your mailing address and email address. And let me see here if I have my email address for you. I don't here. Let me type my email address. This is my Memoirs of a Karmic Dynasty email address, and it's mkdtnt@gmail.com. And so send your information to this email address, and we will ship your calendar out to you. We have it ships out in 1 day, and your free PDF and the audio will be same day. So you'll get those 2 items today. Your calendar will ship tomorrow. Let's see. Live. Oh, so also segment 6, the show before this one. Ramu Tef Queb joined me, and he spoke to everyone about their birthday and how when you are born, definitely if you're older than 10 years old, the star that was in the sky when you were born is no longer there on your birthday. So the day that you think is your birthday is not actually your birthday. Ramu Tef Queb actually will chart the birthday for you. You'll contact him on Facebook, and he will be able to give you that information. And we are actually planning a broadcast where Sba Ramutef Queb joins us here, and he will be providing actual birth charts live. So prepare for that. At this time, my Ptah Secret Star is here. I see you, Sba. I can hear you, Sba. Can you hear me?
Dua, panata pupaman on the jet, Uncle Johnson. Ubenafikir Paneboru Ma'ati to you, my great Queen Mother Goddess, our most revered, honorable Queen Mother Goddess, Ast Maat Tf Nut. Dua.
No, Sba. So I read so far. I have I've spoke my Hesse, and I greeted the audience, and I shared their greetings with everyone. And let's see, I recapped the last segment, segment 6, and I spoke about so at this time I was speaking about how Ramutef joined me on the live, and he was talking to everyone about their birthday, their actual real birthday. So at this time, before we continue, if you would speak your Hesse.
Dua. Panata Pamar on the jet, Uncle Johnson. Ubenafikir Paneboru Ma'ati. Greetings, family. Greeting, Ramet. Welcome again to the Precious Treasure. And I am Ptah Asar. And we are broadcasting on the Nagaship Association's telecommunications multimedia platform with the great Queen Mother Goddess, Ast Maat Tf Nut. And I am your humble servant, Ptah Asar. And before we begin, let me put us in our first frequency specifically by performing my Hesse, my Saku, my affirmation to address the cosmic forces that allow us love guidance protection through the daily experiences upon matter, so that I may address the ancient ones, the ancestors, and the Patnatrus by commanding these cosmic forces. First, I would like to say that I would like to ask the ancestors and those great Queen Mother Goddesses that are present and existing with us today for permission to speak. I shall call upon the great Queen Mother, Queen Afor, for permission to speak. I shall call upon the great Queen Mother Goddess Soleil for permission to speak. Our great Queen Mother Goddess Deborah for permission to speak, and our great Queen Mother Goddesses Ast Maat Tf Nut for permission to speak, and Queen Mother Goddess who just had her Nefa Mesoeru, her happy born day and solar return to Queen Mother Goddess Ast Hellenism Seshat, formerly known as Shema Ra'et. We say to you, Dua, and she for permission to speak. She now call upon the Sebas, the elders, for permission to speak. Dr. Professor Leonard Jeffries for permission to speak. Baba Suni Valentine for permission to speak. I call upon Professor Jane Small for permission to speak. I call upon Sba Mefundishi for permission to speak. I also call upon Kaba Kamini for permission to speak. And to my great friend and Sba Reggie Mabry for permission to speak. And to my Sba Clemson Brown for permission to speak. And I shall begin to perform my Hesse, my Saku, my affirmation by saying, Dua, Panata, Upamaran was the Jeron Jasneb, Unafikir Paneburu Mati. Etepu, Dua. Anezalek, Ramech, Hotep. Greetings and divine greatness, divine excellence to the first families, my Nagas, my Shemsurus, my Nasupitis, my Hemets, my Sba-t, the immortal ones of Ma'at, cherished, phenomenon of precession, New Age order, great golden age of Tf Asar, and all citizens, descendants of the Nile Valley culture, cosmic collective consciousness, spirituality. Oh God, never touch you, Ra, the he, the she, the mother and father of all existence, master and possessor of light and radiation, of heat and movement. Bless us humble servants for life now present, for we seek the counsel of the ancient ones and practice daily the ancient Maat ways and ancient Maat truths. We strive ever more to become one with thee in this world and in the existence to come. We ask that you bless us on this, the 69th day of the year after the Helic rising. 291 days remaining until Uben Subtit Cyrus rising. Upawat, Samatawi, Wetren Pet, New Year celebration. The 33rd day of the second month of Wall-Renenut, the 4th day of Hapi, the 9th day of the 3rd month of the first season of Shemu, year number 10 AFNK/ST, after the founding of New Kemet, Naga Kemet, Samatawi, phenomenon of precession, New Age order, great golden age, Mata Tf Asar. We ask that you bless our families and friends and all those of us who gather together to worship in your most holy, sacred, and glorious ancient Khemetic name of Ra and Teshura, for in the art of seeking you there is much comfort. So as it is spoken, so let it be written, so let it be done, so shall it be, for now and forever forward. Ra and Teshura, Pa Nata Apu Pamaat, Uncle Jet, Uncle Janseneb, Ubenepi Kia Panepuharu Ma'ati, rising always in divine excellence with Ma'at all day, every day. Dua, 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 Atua, Atua.
Dua,
So what we
Ptah Asar, your words are Macharu, true of voice. You are victorious and righteously great. You have commanded the cosmic forces that allows you love, guidance, and protection through the daily experiences of ponderable matter. Your libation, Hesi, Saku affirmation, is splendor to the ears of the ancient ones, the ancestors, and the Pwat-Netcharus. Dua, Dua, Wu.
Dua, Dua, Wu, Queen Mother Goddess, Ast Maat Tf Nut. Dua, Dua. So what we just performed was our divine birthright for immortality. And again, welcome to the Precious Treasure, Immortality, a continuous series which we have developed here at the Nagatian Institute of Cosmic Awareness, Spiritual Consciousness, and Universal Enlightenment on our platform, the Nagaship Association, telecommunications, multimedia platform. And we want to make sure that everyone is on a first frequency specifically. So we're here to reveal to you your divine birthright as we recap our last episode and take you through the traditional ancestral teachings and doctrines so that you can applicate this in your own way, for you can embrace this and pass this down to your children and your children's children and your descendants, so that we may re-inherit this, or Ra inherit this planet again, because of our auspicious moment in time and space right now. So everything is prepared and set up for you. All you have to do is embrace the frequency. And to embrace this frequency, we developed a series of primordial traditional primordial temple discipline traditional methods for you to applicate yourself in. They're called the first lines of defense. First cosmic lines of defense is your Hesi. You have to present yourself to the ancestors and perform your Hesis into utter the Usamedu Nefeheka'u, the divine words of power, and to connect yourself to these cosmic forces, which are matter, science. So we're going to relate to this scientifically, mathematically, with your cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. With astrology and astronomy, we have absolute accountability and style validation. And with the Medu to pronounce the proper resonance for the frequency, to hold true with Ma'at. And we're going to make sure that somebody today will receive a revelation. Somebody today should be able to feel the tingle behind your cranium, between your two ears, and say, wow, what's that? That's your planet pineal gland excreting fluids. And if you feel the tingles going down your back and some goosebumps, it's your chakras igniting. You have to understand what your body and the universe is connected and telling you through these frequencies. And to be able to command these frequencies, to be in tune with these frequencies. And to do this, we have to understand time. So we're here to present to you the precious treasure. The precious treasure is your divine birthright. Immortality is your divine birthright. In order to receive your divine birthright, you have to understand time. Time is your rite of passage. Unless you understand cosmic time, you will always be in the same spot that we're in right now, that we've been in for the last 4,000 years. And nobody is bringing this information to you except right here on the Nagaship, on the Nagatian Institute and the Nagaship Association, and on our telecommunications multimedia networks with the Queen Mother Goddess. So we want to make sure before we begin that everybody understands that we got a $1 challenge at the beginning of the show. So everybody has her Cash App already there. First, we'd like you to share, to like, share, and subscribe, and to show your appreciation to all the work that the Queen Mother Goddess is doing to prepare for this broadcast. And I'm always there at her beck and call. I am her humble servant, and she has prepared everything for you, and we hope that you show your appreciation. Our students, I'm here to break down the dynamics, the properties of the calendar, and how it relates and manifests to the universe, and how the universe relates back to the origins of existence and the creation and development of the universe. We're going to break out into this mathematically, scientifically, and without cultural context, spirituality. But first, let us all try to find out how to tell time. If you've been with us on the last few broadcasts, you would know our traditional application, and we're going to go through that. Can you flash the calendar in front of them, please, Queen Mother, on PowerPoint? Because mine's on the wall. It's in the box. I overslept. I had it overtaking my nap. I took a late nap, and I'm just waking up from my power nap. You know, I'm an old man. Us old people have to take naps. So I'm just getting up from my nap. Thank you. That is called the precious treasure. It is the Ipeteru Shabitem Tuaru Pamaat. Ipeteru means to measure. Ipet in Meduneta means to measure. Heru means day. Measurement of the day is a way we would say calendar in our ancient Meduneta vernacular. And also Shabitem Tuaru Pamaat. Shabit means the shadow, and Tua means the star, and Heru and the day. And Pamaat means, in accordance to the doctrines of Ma'at, we use the shadow in the second interpretation because the light shines its radiance down on anything, solids, liquids, and gases, matter, and science and mathematics. It will produce a shadow, but nobody knows what the shadow is. So when you're able to applicate this cognitive collective consciousness and understand through our sacred teachings that the light is atomic energy, and when it casts this light radiance upon anything, it casts the shadow has to be a mirror reflection of the light. If the light is atomic energy, then a shadow has to be subatomic. And now we begin to comprehend the dynamics and dimensions of the universe and be able to applicate it to the concept of self-creation, because this is what nobody talks about, the concept of self-creation. Without that, we have no spirituality. We're just Romans and Greeks and scholars and slaves. And we've been into this mental state for so long, and we continue to do the same thing year after year, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, decade after decade, in this redundant, insidious, evil, planned, this evil plan to keep you subjugated or asleep. And so we're here to wake you up. And we're going to do this by frequency. It's called first frequency specifically. So our first line of defense is the Hesse, performing your Hesse, which we both did. And hopefully all of us, my students, my Sbas and Sba-ts, my Mutads, who studying under me and who are watching have performed the Hesi while we performed our Hesi and performed your divine right, your divine rite of passage. And so the second line of defense or second line of cosmic defense is the live it. To know what to eat to live. It is a frequency, it is a body frequency. So you must know the 5 rules of the live it, and the 5 rules of the live it are within the doctrines of Ma'at, which say that the stomach is the key to salvation. To eat only, rule number 1, the stomach is the key to salvation because the air you breathe, the food that you eat must be as the air that you breathe. In with the good, out with the bad. If it doesn't work like that, then you've been Hellenized, you've been lobotomized, you've been ready, you've been set up, you've been Hellenized and lobotomized, and you're ready for a body bag and a toe tag and to meet your expiration date and to transition from this existence in an untimely manner. This is where we're at today. Everybody's sick. Everybody's dying. And they're setting you up for another level and another wave to attack us again. And you keep eating this food. There's no guarantee that any of you will be here tomorrow, but those who are with us today, let me give you the key of manifesting eternal life or immortality, scientifically, mathematically, with your cultural spirituality. So your second line of defense is to live it. The 5 golden rules are eat only of the seed. If it doesn't have a seed, don't put it in your mouth. The only thing you put in your mouth that doesn't have a seed is water. It's very simple. Rule number 1, let me reiterate, is eat only of the seed. If it doesn't have a seed, don't put it in your mouth. The only thing you put in your mouth that doesn't have a seed is water. Very simple. See, we are not logical like Europeans and Greeks. We are cosmical. Okay, we work on cosmic frequencies. And this develops a body frequency which connects you to the cosmic environment, which connects you to the universe. So once you break this communication or this frequency, it's called a violation. We will not accept no violations on our presentation and on our show. We hope that everyone who's listening today at this time would join in the chat room. The Queen Mother God, you have any questions that pertains to your immortality, to your divine birthright, to your live it, or if you're sick and you have problems, you need help, we're here to assist you in any way that we can. So let me go to rule number 2, is to never eat and drink at the same time. Very simple. Don't mix your solids with your liquids, but you're conditioned. You're conditioned to the Hellenistic paradigm, doctrines of ancient humanity. As you eat the food, to reach up on that table and grab that glass and drink it and wash it down, eat the food and wash it down, eat one. These are Anma'atian habits, because when you eat and drink at the same time and you mix your solids with your liquids, the food goes through your mouth, through your throat, down to your stomach, to your digestive system, the solids. But when you drink at the same time, you create an acidic brew, and this acidic brew creates a bloating effect. That's why everybody's blowing up sideways and everybody got big bellies and losing their hair and so on and so forth. And so when you eat and when you eat your food, first you drink. While you're making your food, you're drinking. You drink your water or some juice. And then when you eat the food, because the food produces its own saliva, the liquid is in the food. You don't need to drink it at the same time because the food produces its own liquid. So when you eat, the food goes into the stomach, and then the solids go into the large intestine. And then you wait for a novice or someone who's new to this teachings. You must wait for a minimum of 45 minutes. And you don't be eating, then looking at the clock. You look at the clock. Oh, can I drink now? Can I? By the time you just don't just do what you're doing, time's gonna fly by. I don't drink for 2 hours myself. So, excuse me. So this is rule number 2. So you have to understand that when you eat and drink at the same time, you create an acidic brew, which shuts the system down and begins to create malfunctions within the body system and breaks your frequency. Again, everything is designed to disrupt the frequency. Everything is the frequency. As long as they keep you from connecting to the frequency, then they will keep us in the same condition we are. Rule number 3 is eat as the table earth prepares the food. That means from the vine, from the tree, or from the ground. Rule number 3 is eat as the table earth prepares the food. Definition is from the trees, from the vines, or the ground. It's only coming from 3 places, unless you're getting it dropped off from a helicopter from UNICEF or someone else who's really just dropping down some poison to you, because you know if they're dropping you food, you know it's poison. You know if water, they dropping you water, you know it's not living water, some kind of dead water. But anyways, follow these rules. This is rule number 3. And when you cook your foods, don't overcook them, because you cook the nutrients out of them. And try not to fry your food, because the grease, your body can only heat up to 98 degrees. So it takes 100 and something degrees to boil the grease. So you don't want to disturb your stomach digestive properties. So don't overcook your foods. Keep the nutritions in the food. Rule number 4 is never eat to your fill. That means don't overeat. Don't. Dua siba. Health is wealth. Don't overeat, because if you do, you shut down the body system. To overeat is unma'atian. Don't eat everything in the room. Save something for somebody else, and don't. It's unmatian of you, and it will shut the body down. You'll notice you'll have to go to sleep. So you overloaded the circuits. And rule number 5 is to fast occasionally. For certain periods of the year, you must refrain from eating to cleanse, purify, detox the body of all contaminations, mild contaminations, and to cleanse the body. So you must fast certain periods of the year. We do this during the seasonals, which is summer, spring, fall, and winter on the northern hemisphere. And of course, summer on the equinoxes, the solstices, the aphelion, perihelion, longest day, shortest day of the sun, or the apogee, perigee, longest, shortest, closest, and furthest away from the moon to the earth, or the moon, the lunar cycles, and so on and so forth. Depends upon the level of attainment that you have, that you can go on, what kind of fast you want to go on, and how many times you want to go on to. Or you do it according to you. If you're sick and you're feeling pain, you need to fast. You need to purify the body. One thing I can tell you about pain is your best friend, because pain is going to let you know something's wrong. Pain is going to let you know that something is wrong. So pain is your best friend. It's going to let you know. So we're just getting by the first 2 lines of defense. And the third line of defense is to acquire the ability to experience the phenomenon of being. And this is your divine birthright. And this has to do with living. So some people have lived on this planet. We have ancestors, billions and billions of ancestors for the last 5,000 years. We've been sent into this subject, mental, physical, spiritual subjugation of a decree and equity called inhumanity, in which we became mental, physical, spiritual subjugated slaves, which we will talk about. We've already talked about. And so there's billions and billions of ancestors who never had their first day. That means that you was born and lived on this planet and never experienced being. So being means that you haven't became in tune with this universal force, and you have acquired this ability of comprehension and manifestation by quickly answering these 4 questions. This will tell you on a scale if you've acquired being. Can you answer the 4 questions that have the 4 age-old questions of that so-called history, which we don't have no history. We have our story, but they have a history. We have a history from the diaspora, when it was taken from our land and placed into enslavement. We weren't slaves. We were the greatest mathematicians that ever existed. The the greatest architecture, the greatest everything, who just placed, they came and they took us at this time during as above, so below, to the great golden age of the waning golden age of Aries, which is Amen Ra, into the age of Pisces, which is Uncle Set, which is 2,160 years and 2,160 years, into where we are now. So we're saying 5,000 years that we never had an ability to experience being, but we lived a life. So the purpose of living is not to, you have to understand life, but to have the first frequency specifically, you have to comprehend being. So this is what we're going to talk about today later on in the show. It's like the symbol of the Ankh. People think that this means life. And to a novice, it does mean life, but this is not what it means. This is what it means to the Greeks and what it means to the Romans. They call it the key of life. And some people will tell you it's this, the woman's womb, and there's so many academia, scholarship interpretations, which is all full of nonsense. If it doesn't explain life, it doesn't explain being or the concept of being, then it's not dealing with our story and our cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality. I'm going to say you here into the Ankh because I am not here to entertain you. I'm not here to babysit you. And I'm sure not here to take your temperature. I'm here for one purpose. For my Shamsarus, my Nesupitis, my Hemets, my Sba-t, my Immortality, to return you to your original glory as the immortal ones of Ma'at in the universe, so monarch who are the Nagas or the Shamsarus. And we are the children of Heru. This is Heru. That's who I am. So you have to be able to answer the age-old questions. There's 4 of them, and it says, who am I? Where do I come from? Why am I here? And where am I going? So these are the questions you have to ask yourself. And as you begin to comprehend our present predicament here today and understand that why we have no spirituality, that they force this religion upon us to keep us into this mental subjugation or this mental incarceration, and they did this all through controlling time. And so we're going to bump into it, and that's the third line of defense. And so now we shall begin our narrative of today's broadcast of the precious treasure immortality. As we continue, last time we gave away calendars. We did a lot of great things. We went through a lot of things and everything. We made it a little fun presentation for you. And for those of you who can't afford the calendars, for those of you that cast out, tossed away, we're here for you. I'm here for the brothers that don't have nothing, the ones that are on the streets, that are lost, thrown away, the ones in prison, the ones that have been counted out. You're the true ones. The ones that haven't been forced into this education, that just gave up on school because you already knew. Because we got people who got PhDs, and they have more acronyms, more master degrees, and they're just about as stupid as can be. The stupidest person in the world is an educated person, because you know nothing about yourself. You know nothing about the concept of self-creation. You know nothing about our story. Now, I can hear you talk all about history and academia and scholarship. Well, you're the greatest scholars in the world. Some of the best scholars in the world are the most stupidest people in the world. They have divided loyalties because they're making money on your innocentness, and because you do not know who you are, you become part of this whole feeding frenzy. It's predatorial. Everything's predatorial. So I'm here to give you the information and the knowledge and the wisdom. And what I'm here most specifically to do is to give you cosmic awareness, spiritual consciousness, and universal enlightenment. This is the path to immortality. But I can't get you there if you ate that hamburger this morning, if you ate that flesh this morning, if you destroyed and corrupted the body this morning, then the body frequency is been tampered with. So this is why I'm hoping you brought your recording, the broadcast. Hello, Queen Mother Goddess. I see you in the background. You got today's broadcast? I see you. Go on, girl. Go on, Queen Mother Goddess. I see you. You ain't playing no games. You tuning in. She's tuning in. We got the youth tuning in. She's uh-oh. Broadcast time. Time to put in the work. It's time to put in the work. So first thing you have to understand is the body frequency. If you woke up this morning and you ate that bacon and eggs, and you ate everything that was against the rules, then your body frequency is shut down. But because of that melanin in you, that you still have that frequency, that melanin is so great, but that putting you to sleep, but just still fighting it good, and you just, you're fighting yourself. And we have what we call, it's called UNPP, unnecessary pain and punishment. We seem to love pain and punishment. We got fabricated pain. We got fabricated pain and manufactured pain. We could wake up from manufactured pain. We beat ourselves. The colonizers don't have to beat us no more. We're beating ourselves. They don't have to kill us no more. We're killing ourselves. We wake up in the morning just saying we don't care. What am I got nothing to live for? Which is a disturbing way to think. And we shall not pass this down to the children. We shall not pass these down to the new generation. We shall show them that which was not given to us by our parents, but they did lead us down the path to this direction. They did everything that they could possibly do since we were brought here and placed into enslavement through the diaspora. And I wanted to show a picture, which I meant to send you the picture for Sankofa to begin the show. The picture of the Sankofa of the goose with his head turned backwards, placing the egg behind him inside of the feathers. And that is a African indigenous symbolic symbol. I meant to send that to you, Queen Mother, but I was moving kind of quick. But that symbol, Sankofa, to bring it back, is symbolic of what we're here to do. And what the goose has in his mouth is the cosmic egg. And that's what we're here to speak about, the phenomenon of being, how to acquire this ability to experience the phenomenon of being. So let us begin to break this down as we do with the precious treasure of immortality. You have to have your divine birthright, which is the Ipetaru Shavi Kankaru Pamati. There we go, right there. Oh, you have it. Fantastic. That is the West African symbol from the Dogons, the Nigerians, in Ghana, as Sankofa. So what is it doing? You see a goose with his head turned backwards with an oval object in his mouth, placing it back, bringing it back. That is the whole concept of self-creation through the West African traditional cosmology. And this bird is the great crackler. And the great crackler is known as symbolically as the self-creation of Ra and Teshera. Here it is. Look at this one. They put the Sankofa. Bring it down again. Bring it down a little bit. Queen Mother, one more time. Just bring it down. Okay, go ahead. Sankofa with the cross on it. So what today Hellenized things that you have to do, you have to be able to. We have a great divine professor, Sba, elder teacher. His name is Dr. Professor Leonard Jeffries. Look at this one here. Students of
This one.
They take your spirituality and put the cross on it. That's called being Hellenized, lobotomized, and taking your spirituality and corrupting it and plagiarizing it and fragmenting it and then feeding it back to you in a historical aspect so that you lose the frequency. They know how to corrupt your frequency. So we're here to bring you the frequency. And Dr. Professor Leonard Jeffries, our great elder teacher, the eldest of elders here today, where he has a pyramid the pyramid modulator. And in the pyramid modulator, he tells you that you go into scholarship to find the analysis of the paralysis. But when you go in there, they have it set up inside of this public domain, or the www, or when you go do your research as to do your due diligence, they have, but you're going to suffer what they call the paralysis of the analysis. So they're already waiting for you. So you have to go in there with teachers who can lead you into there so that you don't fall for these traps. Because you go in there to find the answers to give you back your spirituality in your rightful place on this planet. And you come back out of there buying apple pies and Chevrolets and get a white picket fence and a house, and you're joining the voting squad and down at the neighborhood church. So you have to be able to comprehend our spirituality, and this is part of the Ancient Humanity. This is what we have become, is Ancient Humanity. So we're going to begin again with understanding our divine birth right, of time. Everything revolves around the light. Everything revolves around the sun. We are children of the sun. The sun is a star. So we are star children. Okay? And this sun is in science is a hydrogen atom. And this hydrogen atom in mathematics becomes a proton and neutron surrounded by a nucleus has an electron, which is atomic energy. And this atomic energy produces light. And this light has a mirrored reflection, which is radiation. So the light is atomic energy, and radiation becomes subatomic. So to understand your divine birth record, what they did is they corrupted the time. Please put up the calendar, the 3 pictures I gave you today for the calendar, the Khemetic calendar. Let's address this phony Khemetic calendar that these scholars are feeding down your throat. A 10-day calendar. There's 10 days in a week. It has 3 weeks in a month. So that means there's 30 days in every month. So any calendar on this planet, every calendar on this planet has 30 days in a month. Why is that? Because it's an agricultural calendar. It's only good for feeding you. Do you have them pick the screen, mother, the 3 pictures of the 3 seasons of Shamu, Aket, and Pert? I want everyone to see the PowerPoint so as I go through this, they can perform their due diligence as so-called scholars. They have their scholarship. I have scholarship, but I am not a scholar. I would insult myself in calling myself a scholar, because to call myself a scholar means that I am a student of Plato, and Plato was the Greek who opened the first school of scholarship. So to call myself a scholar is an insult to my ancestors, but you must have scholarship, because that's where everything they stole from us is hidden inside of the public domain through theology. As a theologian or ecclesiastic person, you would have to know how to go in search and get this information. And so you have to go to the scholarship. But most people that go into scholarship gets trapped into the scholarship. And then there's so much money. This is here. These are the 3 seasons here. Going to the next one. Show us the yellow one first, please. But these are the 3 seasons. Okay, right there. Okay, so this is the 30-day Gregorian calendar, which you would find if you was to Google a calendar. This is what you would find. And this 30-day calendar has 10 days in a week, 3 weeks in a month, and 30 days. 10 days in a week, 3 weeks in a month, and 30 days in every month. Like the Gregorian calendar, like the Chinese calendar, like the Muslim calendar, like the Hebrew calendar, like the Ethiopian calendar. Even the African calendars today have 30-day months. Every calendar on the planet today has 30 days in a month. And if it has, it's a mathematical equation, everybody. First of all, you have to understand, you have to master, you have to understand how to relate things mathematically to your divine math, your sacred science, and your cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. You add astrology and astronomy to have absolute accountability and star validation. Of course, you must add the Medu method to pronounce the proper resonance in the sound. This is called primordial temple discipline. They only teach you one, they have you as one dimensional all the time. Our cultural spirituality has to be blended with the sacred science, the divine math, and the cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality. So one of my great Sba said to me, he said, "Ptah, I love everything you're doing, great PowerPoints, you're breaking everything down. But I don't understand why you say Aket isn't the first season, and why Shamu, and why is Aket pertinent than Shamu? When really it's Shamu is the first season, because there's the one in the middle is the first season. But the lunar cycle calendar or the civil calendar that you see that the Khemetics have, they have Aket is the first season. So here you see the corruption. Here you begin to see the violation. Here you begin to see the paralysis of analysis, which begins to create the disturbance in the frequency. And if you're not able to put it together generically, you won't be able to ascertain its cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality and to apply these Medu Metta symbols. So in the middle, you see Shamu. Now, Shamu is the first season. It's the inundation. Why is Shamu the first season and not Aket? Aket is the plants. You can't grow plants until you got water and sunlight, first of all. Okay, we know through photosynthesis, but now let's just break this down so that as above, so below. So there's no more. So these scholars, you notice none of the scholars ever confront me None of the scholars would ever. I got a calendar. I've been trying to get to these Kemetic people for the last 20 years, and they all reject 9 days in a week. Everybody knows on this planet that has any half a brain and studying knows that before the Romans and the Greeks, there were 9 days in every week, and time was kept by counting stars that were visible on our calendar, aware of the movement of the Earth, stars, and moon. These ancient African indigenous primordial ancestral peoples were cosmically attuned. So there's 9 days in a week. We're going to break that down because everybody knows there's 9 days in a week because Julius Caesar corrupted the calendar in 46 BCE under Sassanides. He put himself on the calendar. We went from 9 days to 8. Then it went from 10 months to 11. Augusta came, and we went from 8 days to 7. We went from 11 months to 12. It's mathematics. They don't think that you could count. These teachers actually think that the people, the Ramech, that we're stupid. That we're so stupid that we're going to listen to them feed us the same information, the same violation that's keeping our children oppressed through a mathematical equation, which applies to our sacred science, and then triangulates to our cultural, cosmic, conscious spirituality. So bring us back to, okay, so here's the Medu symbol. All this is good. All of the Medu here, and the second register from the left is correct. The year is Ren Pet. The month is Abet. The day is Heru, H-R-U. The H, the mouth, and the quail is H-I-U, and the sun disk behind it is phonetic. So you have to, you got your guidance sign list. You learn your alphabetical and your phonetical. Phonetical is picture symbols. And then you have your unilateral, bilateral, trilateral, and your determinatives. And so these are basic elementary principles of understanding Medu Neter taught by Gardner sign lists. So I studied Gardner sign lists 55 years ago. Okay. Then you learn E.A. Wallace Bulge. Then you learn Chapalio, Reisner, and Gardner Reisner, and Petrie, and Birches, and Bremstead, and so on and so forth. And Rosetta Stone, Champollion. So bring us back to this the season again. I want to break this down because I'm not trying to. I'm gonna break this down because I don't want one of these foolish little young upstarts. The next one, the one we was at, these upstarts who are just coming into this, and because I'm after the teacher, I'm not after the young upstarts. I'm after these phony Kemetic teachers who are teaching this foolishness under the Hellenistic paradigm doctrines of ancient humanity. Shemu has to be the first season because the snow caps of Mount Kilimanjaro in Kenya, when the summer comes, the snow caps melt. The water runs down the mountain. The water runs into the White Nile and the Blue Nile, which doesn't run up because water doesn't run upwards. They have the map upside down because gravity cannot run upwards. So we know it's not running up, but it's running down. But the way it's projected on the map is running up. It goes up towards Ethiopia. White Nile, it goes into the White Nile and Blue Nile, and it connects to the Nile. And as the Nile comes to Ethiopia and up to the Sudan, the banks of the Nile begins to overflow. It's called the inundation. And this takes, it's 60 days to inundate and 60 days to recede. So that means that there's 3 seasons. Each season has 4 months. Each month has 30 days. 120, 120, 120 is 360 days. This is how it's broken down on a mathematical equation. Bring back the Medu Neter now. Let's bring this equation to the Medu Neter so that everybody can understand. People have to understand this. So now when you see your teacher, you ask him, why are you telling me it's this? And we can see the Medu Neter is saying something different. Why are you telling me something that the Europeans are telling you? Not this one here, because we already know this is okay. These okay right there. Right there is good. Now we know there's the year right here in the second register from the left is the Medu Neter. It says Ren Pet is the top one. It says year, month is Abet, and the day is Heru, and the hour is The rabbit is, and the water sign is and there's the base with the T, Unut. And Unut is in the star. That's the beings who regulate the time, the movement of the stars or the moments of the stars, and that comes out to be an hour. hour's time. Now here's the month of Aket. It shows you an upside down moon, which is Abet 1, Abet 2, Abet 3, Abet 4, which is 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, 30 days, which is 120. Here's the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4. The one stroke is Melanetta for 1, 2 strokes is 2, 3 strokes is 3. This is like Roman numerals. This is what the Roman numerals got from 1 to 4. Okay? And even the Mayans use the same stroke in their mathematical equation. But anyways, here we go 4 again. 30, 30, 30, 30 is 120, 120, 120. And then this next one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 30, 30 days, 30 days, 30 days. It's 120, and 120, 120, 120 is 360 days. Now here we go. They have on the bottom register, it says the epagomon. The epagomon is Greek for the extra 5 days because there's 365 days in a year. If the Earth, see, the Earth has 3 motions. The Earth revolves on its axis. It rotates on its axis. And this rotation takes 24 hours and 35 minutes. And then the second motion would be the revolution around the sun. These are the motions of the Earth, because motion is a requirement in the separating of the collective energy contained within a motionless code void, such as new to primary ocean. I'm just trying to relate to this on subatomic and in a subatomic manner at the same time we're having this conversation, because I need you to think on a cosmic level. I need you to use and exercise your brain properly as you look at these medunetas, because these medunetas are frequencies. Each symbol is a frequency. That's how our ancestors communicated to us. So in the bottom register, here's the Hellenistic paradigm doctrines of Ancient Khemetic, where you suffered through the paralysis of the analysis. So now it says the epagomor days. It says epagommenos, which is the epagomor days. And underneath it says Mesut, and on the second register says Mesut Necheru. Mesut means to be born. Mesut, like Christmas, the birth of Christ, right? But today with Christmas, right, is the Latin word Christmas is broken down from the primordial etymology of Latin, and the Latin came from the demonic, and the demonic came from the Coptic, and the Coptic and the demonic to the hierarch, and it's all back to the Medunetta, all the way back to the phrase. It all comes from Medunetta, and the corruption came all the way down to Latin and Greek. So here's Mesut, like Moses, or like Thutmoses, or Jehuti means born of Jehuti, or Ramesses, or Ramesses, born of Ra. Here it is Mesut Necheru. Necheru is Neter, or Necher, and Necheru is plural. So these are the 5x, these are 5 days. Now it goes over Heru, Renpet, the days of the year, Renpet, Heru, in the next column on the bottom. Look at the bottom register, everybody. And then on the next day it says the 5 days. Okay, now these are 5 extra days. So now these 5 extra days, so what they do is they make another, so instead of having, so now in this lunar cycle calendar, they got 12 months, they throw another month in there with just 5 days in there. So it's called an intercalendary month. This is what the Greeks are doing. The time, they're finagle the bangle, because they're working on a lunar cycle calendar, and then in the primordial function of its mathematical equation, the lunar cycle calendar, every 130 years, one unearned day is added to the calendar. So you're not even going to see this in your lifetime or your child's lifetime or the next descendant's lifetime, but 5, 6, 7, 8 generations down the road of you being enslaved and being a mental, physical, spiritual subjugated slave and suffering from mental incarceration. And then all of a sudden, the kingdom or the ruling staff can't feed you because they had a bum crop for 10 years because somebody forgot to line up the spring equinox with the sun, because every 130 years, 100 days is added to the calendar. So you're not going to see it in your lifetime. So after 5, 6, 700 years, the sun doesn't line up with the spring equinox, and that's when you plant the seed to grow the crops for this agricultural calendar. It's a civil agricultural calendar. It's used to feed you, to grow crops. That's all it's used for. We have a solar, sidereal, and lunar cycle. So I'm not saying this is not applicable to our calendar, because our calendar, if it do, is solar, sidereal, and lunar. Why would they just give us one aspect of our spirituality when we need the solar and the sidereal to connect to our cosmic environment? Because remember, mathematically, scientifically, the Earth has 3 motions. It rotates on its axis. It revolves around the sun annually, the annual orbit for seasonal, and then it's tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical, which makes it wobble. And one wobble is 26,000 years, which they call the phenomenon of precession, or no, the precession of equinox is what they call it, which is the phenomenon of precession. So they teach you in school that it rotates on its axis, revolves around the sun, and it's tilted 23.5 degrees, it makes it wobble, and that's 26. But they never mention the phenomenon of precession, because they mention the phenomenon of precession, they have to equate the 26,000 years and movement through the sun through each and every sign of the zodiac. And here we go here. Here's the schematic here. Here's the Earth tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical. Now remember, vertical shows the other one, Queen Mother, with the vertical symbol, with the other line in the middle, so you can see the vertical tilt on the other one. And remember, vertical north is not magnetic north. So you still have to take magnetic north into the equation, because the variant, because now when you think that you're a Virgo, like this month is September on the Gregorian calendar, you think you're a Virgo, and you look outside on your birthday. First of all, your star's not there. Second of all, you look up in the constellation, and Virgo Ast is not in the sky. Leo Herokotes in the sky. So I was born on July 28th on the Gregorian calendar. So I'm thinking, here it is here. That line in the middle is vertical, and the Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical, which makes it wobble. That wobble, that circle of wobble it makes is 26,000 years. Okay, so that's vertical north, but that's not magnetic north. Magnetic north has always been moving for the last 26,000 years. It always moves. It moves into a semi-little wiggling circle, and this circle affects every degree that it wobbles. I mean, it wiggles. It moves our visual content when we look at the constellations in the sky. So as Leo, I'm looking in the sky and I see Kepler, which they call Cancer. So I'm looking for Leo. Leo's not in the sky. So it's, anybody can lie to you, but the stars are not going to lie to you. Mathematics isn't going to lie to you. The science produces the evidence. Only the humans or man is going to lie to you. So this is why we have to address these cosmic forces that allow us love, God, protection through the experience of fundamental matter, which in science are nature, the elements, or matter. And in our cultural spirituality, we call them the Necharu, the gods and goddesses. Okay? So you have to put all this together. So now let's stay back to the calendar here, Queen Brother. I just want to keep this, this little time is going to go by. And I think there's a lot of people that need this information real quick to make a difference, to be able to make the comparison and to differentiate what is going on here. That you wake up every day and you're a slave, and they can wake up every day and be your master, and they've been doing this for over 4,000 years. And what is the trick? I mean, we're supposed to be the great OG gangsters and the slickest hustlers and pimps and whatever it is that you say that you are. You are OG and all this and all that. Yet you wake up and you outside and you're less than human. You're into humanity. What did they do? This is what they did. So they asked me, the question I said from the beginning is, how is it that Aket is the first month? And I say Shemu is the first month. The scholars have a problem with that. And the thing is that when they stole our spirituality, they stole time from us. And when Ptolemy Soter Serapis Teperamen, who was a general of Alexander, who began the Hellenization of this planet back in 323 BCE on a Gregorian chronological timeline for you scholars and you theologians who want to just Google it for your due diligence.
See, but we have feedback from the audience on the screen.
There's feedback?
Yeah.
There's feedback? Okay, how are we doing now? Are we doing better now?
Feedback. There's a comment.
Oh, comment. Okay. Anybody? Yes, go ahead. Well, can you want to? Is that the comment right there?
Yes, Seba.
Google said the Morley experiment shows no movement on Earth. Okay, cancel him out. Calico. How can there be no movement on Earth, Calico? Okay, we don't need time for Hellenistic paradigm doctrine. We don't need a violation. Either come with us with your spirituality. Don't come with us with the Greeks and the Romans. Okay, motion is a requirement in the separating of the collective energy contained within a motionless cold void, such as nu, the primary motion, nothingness, dark energy, or the cosmological constants or oblivion. Now you have to break this down. I got to go Zep-Tepi on you. I got to take you into the primeval ocean of nothingness, into the primordial field forces of electromagnetism, weak plus strong force of gravity, Rod never test you. Show you how motion is a requirement in that existence, that the first law of existence is that energy must be spent. So I have to go in to break down these properties of self-creation, to break this down for you, which would take us up. The audience might not be ready for me to break it down for you, but the calico, we can discuss that in a moment. But motion is a requirement. With the creator, we went from a state in the beginning of energy, thought, feeling, and non-motion. So there's no motion inside of the primeval ocean of nothingness. They call it the primeval ocean of nothingness because everything that is, was, is, shall be is contained within this void. And this void, to equate it or to explain it or to equate it mathematically, I would have to, or numerically, I would have to express the ocean of nothingness numerically, I would have to use zero. And when the Greeks saw zero, they saw nothing. But when our ancestors saw zero, we see everything. So that zero, which mathematically means nothing, actually, it contains everything. It's the primary ocean of nothing, which is the essence of the Ankh. We're going to break that down. I was going to break that down with this conversation here. The calico's jumping the gun. I know I'm kind of long-winded here. And but I wanted to break down the part of the calendar. I want to break down this calendar. But I know the calico, you've been watching this series for the last 10 months. I know you've been with me for a long time. But that was not the quite proper question. You could have put it another way, the calico. But I understand what you're saying. I have no problem with the Baba sounds choppy. The Baba sounds choppy. What's that mean? Selena Ellis. Oh yeah, choppy. I'm touching my unks. Okay, yes, I'll try to keep the acoustics down. Nothing exists without a vortex, right? The void. Do I see? But anyways, let's get back to this time part, because this is where, see, if you can't catch the violation at the beginning, there's water above. Mothership, ship, mother, yes, do I see? Agua, water, always a primeval ocean, yes, divine, the void. So if you don't catch this violation, then you're not going to wake up from the sleep that you're in, from this hypnotic spell. They got us hypnotically spelled on time. And our Sebas are running around perpetuating the same hypnotic spell because they're making money off you. And they're getting old. They're getting sick. They got to pay their bills. They gave up trying to free you, and now they're trying to use you as a cash cow. But we are at war. And time is running out. We're on the brink of extinction. They're about to exterminate us. I got mothers crying, I got babies dying, I got mothers, and I got stars aligning. And I'm gonna keep up the cosmic time, and you're on my watch. And I'm gonna make sure that everyone. So I'm bringing this equation to the people. That's my job, to put the mathematical equation to the Ramech, to the people, to our population, our melanated people, to let them decide. Because the teachers actually think that you're stupid. They actually think that you can't count to 30. Because if you could count to 30, you knew that the moon is 29 and a half days from waxing to waning is the full moon. So that's why it's called a lunar cycle, because the moon takes 29 and a half days. So any calendar that has 30 days is a lunar cycle calendar, which makes it an agricultural calendar. And there is no correct solution if the moon is the principal inspiration. You must have the solar aspect and the sidereal aspect. The sidereal time. Sidereal time is the star Sba-t, Sirius. It takes it to break the horizon, to traverse the elliptic plane and return to its original position in respect to stars is 8,766 hours. Google it. It's going to tell you the same thing. That's in the public domain. Everybody knows what sidereal time is. So you have to take into the equation of sidereal time, because our sun and Sirius, they do a dance together. It's they're binary stars. Everything is dualism. Everything is polarized. Everything is opposites and attractions. And our sun dances with Sba-t, and it's called, and every time they get close together is every 1,461 years, and when they go to the furthest apart is 1,461 years, and these are called helical rising. A true helical rising means the sun and the star rises together in the morning of the Ren Pet. And when this rises together, it means that our Earth has made one complete revolution of the sun. Remember, we're back to the three motions of the Earth. The Earth has three motions. It rotates on its axis. This is the symbol for something here. There's the spike. See that big spike there? And then the T and the star. And they say that says something. And something in Greek is Cyrus. But how does that mean something? What is that spike there? That spike is not an obelisk. It's not a tekken. It's obviously not a tekken. And it's obviously not the capstone of a pyramid, which is a ben. What is that on the left? It is a frequency. And it's a frequency that permeates from the combined gravitational alignment of the Earth, the Moon, the Sun, the star, something, the constellation of Orion and Pleiades, into the quadrant of our Milky Way galaxy. It creates a frequency. They call it in science telluric forces or conductivity discontinuity, which produces ley lines. And this symbol at the top right is the symbol T. And God in the sign list, they'll tell you that's a raised loaf. God in the sign list tells you that's a raised loaf. This is what the Greeks are telling you what that is. That is actually the primeval mound. It represents stability. It represents gravity. So now, see, we are added. So when you're looking at Medunetta, you're looking at a frequency. You're looking at these primordial field forces. And of course, the bottom figure on the bottom right is a star. So here you have the phonetic value is at the bottom, and its phonetic value is on the left, and its alphabetical symbol is at the top right. And so you have to know the alphabetical, the phonetical, you know, by trilateral and your determinatives to be able to make a cognitive conscious judgment. Okay, at least make a judgment call of your own spirituality. But if that's a raised loaf, dunce cap brings direct energy to exactly the dunce cap. There you go. The dunce cap that they put in your head when you was in school was used as a cone, because them were cones. In ancient African indigenous primordial ancestors used the cones, and these cones made of quartz, and then cones have a circle, which was so if you Google ancient Egyptian cones or the cones of the Huta, the Twa, and the Bantu in South Africa, they have these cones that are used to you hit the two cones together, and it creates a frequency. You hit the cones with the donut, and it creates a frequency, and you triangulate the cones and point it at an object, and it makes these objects to levitate, and you're able to move these megalithic stone architectural monuments and these megalithic stones in which our ancestors built these architectural wonders. And this is what these exactly. That was great. That was great that you understood that. These are the cones, and the cones produce frequency. So everything when you look at Medunetta, there's frequency, but they told you that that's something, and there's no way something is even in there. So something comes in when later on, when they break it down alphabetically using a constellation from the tomb room of the royal burial chamber of Senumet in the Ramesseum, breaks down Asa's relationship to the star something. See, but if Ra and Cyrus are in binary balance, do they both go around Alcyone? Absolutely. Alcyone is a constellation of six suns. And there's a blue sun, there's a green sun, there is a orange sun, and there's another sun. And our sun is the seventh sun, which is the yellow sun. And Alcyone is called in our cultural spirituality the constellation of Heteru, because Heteru has seven sisters, and they are the seven sisters of Heteru, or in Greek they would call the Hathor, the sisters of Hathor. Okay, now exactly, and this shows us the schematic queen mother of the Great Pyramid, and the star shafts and the stars that it points to in the southern and the northern horizon, the northern hemispheres. So that was a good question. Yes, it does. That's part of our quadrant of the Milky Way galaxy. When you look at it from an aerial view, you see a hurricane. Looks like a hurricane, but when you look at it from a side view, it's nothing but a line. And that's the galactic plane. And that's how our sun moves on the third motion of the Earth, is the rotation, is the bubble of the Earth, and the movement of the sun through the phenomenal precession. Yes, okay, keep moving. This this Alcyon. This is Orion's belt right here. The constellation of Orion, and at the bottom is Sba-t right there. Get that picture right there, and that means you see that light coming up at the bottom. That means the sun's getting ready to rise. So this is called the helical rising. So when the sun comes up and you see this, now you won't be able to see the constellation of Orion, but you'll still be able to see that star Sirius. And when the sun and the star is visible in the sky in the morning, it indicates mathematically that our sun is made one complete revolution around the sun. I mean, our Earth is made one complete revolution around the sun. This is how we know the New Year's. This is why it's called the Ren Pet. Now, I'm gonna get back to and then above. So Sirius is at the bottom. The three stars there is called Orion's belt, and above Orion there's the constellation of the Pleiades. So the Pleiades rises first, then comes Orion, and then comes Sba-t or Sirius. Okay, and then after Sirius comes Ra, and that's called the helical rising. But a true helical rising, that star would be down to the black at the bottom. Sounds like Heraklion. Heraklion is Greek, and yeah, that's more of a Greek term than the Hellenistic term. But we'll go beyond that. But yes, okay, we'll roll with that. But yeah, that's a violation. Remember your violation. Don't violate, baby. You just became a perpetual violator. But you're okay. We're gonna give you a pass. But we don't tolerate perpetual violators. We don't tolerate violations at all. We tolerate nothing but first frequency, specifically never touch it out. So this way here, once you see a violation, you address it. When you address it appropriately and correctly, so that it never becomes again. It never appears in front of you again. We're taking all violators. We're bringing judgment upon them. I don't care if you're a teacher, if you're not part of the concept of self-creation, you're not perpetuating the light of her rule. So go back to that. Let's keep that conversation with the stars, Queen Mother, because he asked the question. It's going right back to that concept. But we're talking about the calendar. This is all followed with the calendar, the three motions of the earth. So here we go. So now, when the star comes down to the horizon and the sun rises with it together below there, that's every 1,461 years. We was talking about the binary dance. Now, the helical rising is going to occur every year because the earth and the sun has Ra. If Ra and Sirius are in a binary dance, do they both go around Alcyon? You already asked us that, Kwame. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So Alcyon and with Alcyon in the equation, with Alcyon, the Pleiades, the constellation of Pleiades has a major star is Alcyon. Okay, now when Alcyon in the equation, this is how we knew the seconds of the hours and the minutes, the seconds of the seconds and the minutes of the hour are equated through the motion of the sun and movement of 12 miles a second around Alcyon. Multiplied 10 times gave it 120 miles of movement. That realizing that at each cycle 60, a new star alignment occurred. That's how we understood about Sirius by mathematically equating through the Nut Wa, or the star watches in Medinetta, comprehended through the Dogons and the Huta and the Tuanabantu and the Kemetians and the Congolesians. We all knew it was all the buildings are orientated to these constellations in the south. All the buildings are orientated to these constellations, even in Angkor Wat, Katan, Borobudur, in India, in Cambodia. If you go to Mexico, to Teotihuacan, Pumapunka, if you go to Inca, it doesn't matter. They're Nagas. All ancient megalithic architectural monuments and its polymer and polygamo designs are orientated to the south, to the Pleiades, to Orion, and to Sba-t, because this means you can't understand the mathematical and scientific equivalent and equation that it takes for the Earth to move around the sun, unless you don't align yourself to these stars. And then you go to the northern star shaft, and you should sound like, share, and subscribe. Dua. Don't forget to send a $1 donation. Somebody want to donate $1 to the Queen Mother Goddesses? We got a $1 challenge. Can we get 50 cents today? If you would like to support the Empress, yes, please. If you would like to support her to bring me to your show again next week, she has me on her show every week. We're trying to do twice a week. I don't charge a dime. I don't want a dime. Don't send me a dime. I don't want 1 penny, because this information is your information. I'm obligated to give it to you free. So but please make a donation to the Queen Mother Goddess. Okay, donation made from your beautiful baby. Dua, Kim Stewart. You always donate. Ptah Asar Nut.
Yes, we heard.
The Queen Mother behind you, putting up the count.
Yes, she received her the donation, so she has her money.
You see what I'm saying? The Queen Mother Goddesses are
That's
always in tune and perpetuating the
the
vibration.
lady
We
who
want to
gave
send
you
to
the
Kim
money.
Stewart. Hete poo, dua, ooh. Panata, pama, costa, jero. Please tell the Queen, please tell us what your name is, Queen Mother Goddess. Our great helper. Dua,
Her name is Lucille.
Lucille in Spanish
Yeah,
is luz. Luz is the light. Light is the sun. The
the
light.
light. That's right.
Exactly in Spanish. So that's Ra. That's Ra'et. Exactly. She becomes Sekhmet or Heteru. Yes. When we go into Meta. Yes, Queen Mother.
He
So
said,
yes. So now remember. Boom. Let's stay on this. Let's stay with me. Stay with me, family, because I got you. I got you moving cosmically. I got you frequentizing. I got you thinking scientifically, mathematically, and with your cult of cosmic, your cult of spirituality. You're equating it with astrology and astronomy. You're aligning things up, and now you're able to think. You're able to remember. I'm only here to help you remember because everything I'm saying to you, you already know. You already know everything I'm saying. You just got a bad case of memory loss. So I'm only here to help you remember. So there we go. So Orion, Alcyone measures the seconds. Orion measures the orbit of the Earth around the sun, which is 8,766 hours, which is 1 year. And then that's on a subject mathematical equation. And we know that the Earth has three motions.
Siba,
It rotates around. Yes,
Siba Rumble Tech Web, request you
just
adjust your mic.
yes. Do I see? And I'm going
I'm
to take a
hearing
break.
wires
I'm
myself.
going. I'm going to take 2 seconds
And
to
drink your
look.
water, because he's going to say that next.
I know you're going to say that next. I know he is. I know he is. So I hope everybody's enjoying our show right now, and we're moving time. What's more time we have? Let me see. What 1 hour and a half? I gonna smoke 1 hour and a half without. I'm really long. I'm really long-winded. I'm very long-winded, but I make sure that I frequentize you on this level of ascertainment, of understanding how to tell time. Because that's what they did. They put you in the Gregorian timeline, so you can't think no more because we're cosmic people. We're cosmic. We're star beings. We're light
Yes,
beings.
Siba. And I was about to say, and Ramu Tef is here with me. Before you go
Before you go.
cosmic, drink some water, Siba. Do
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Do I needed that. Okay, YouTube hating on audio later. Yes, they are. The calico. Yes, do I see? So as we continue now, the three motions. So we know that the Earth rotates on its axis. But now, boom, now you got to deduce. You got to deduce this to its lowest common denomination now, because this is where they got you.
Siba, your wires are hitting your shirt and your arm.
This is where they get us at. They
Very
get us
good.
at. It sounds better. This is where they get us at. They got us because you have to deduce this motion, the first motion of the Earth. It rotates on its axis. Originally, it was 24 hours and 35 minutes. It's called the solar calendar. The original calendar of humankind, of our ancient African indigenous primordial ancestors, is the solar calendar. There's 360 days in a year, which means that the first motion of the Earth, it rotates on its axis 24 hours and 35 minutes. There's 35 minutes extra in every day that is split between the duat and the twat, which is sunrise and sunset, respectively, or dusk or dawn. Our ancestors accounted for every second of light that occurred or transpired through our experience, through the daily experiences of ponderable matter. So under this equation, mathematical equation of 24 hours and 35 minutes, the second rotation of the Earth is 300. And the third movement is it rotates tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical, which makes it wobble, equates to the 26,000 year cycle around the precession. Now, bring up the picture with Nut, Seb, and somebody in the middle hoping up the Queen Mother. Let's bring the Medu Neter into this equation, because we got the sacred science with the divine math. We triangulated. See, we're triangulating the sacred science in one corner, and then we have the divine math in another corner here. Where we at here? Okay, and then we triangulated. Then that's the metaphysics. Metaphysics means you have to triangulate things on a cosmic level. You got that picture, Queen Mother, of Nut and Seb being separated by Shu or Kemu, so that we could place this into our cultural, cosmic, collective consciousness, spirituality, because we have no spirituality. We're just Greeks and Romans, and we need to produce the Medu Neter to produce the frequency. So everybody learns to read, write, speak, and teach Medu Neter properly. Not like no Greek, not like no Roman, not like Champollion, not through God and the signless, through these scholars teaching you how to be Greeks. Let's teach us how to be Shemsu Herus, Nesupitis, Hemet, Sba-t, Mudatat, Muto ones of mine. So, anyways, here's the second motion of the earth is that, the first motion of the earth on this lower deduction is that it rotates on this axis 24 hours in every day. And on this second movement of revolving around the sun, there's 365 and a quarter days. Does that sound familiar? Today you have 24 hours in a day, and it takes 365 and a quarter days to revolve around the sun. So that is the second motion, which is not the original motion. That second motion is called the Jehutian calendar, or the Tehutian calendar, which Lord Jehuti implemented, because Nut, the sky, and Seb, the earth, wanted to have children, and Ra forbid the allotment of more time so that mankind could be born on the earth. This is part of your cultural, cosmic, conscious spirituality to equate to the mathematical equation, to the sacred science, and you put it together with astrology, astronomy. It all has to blend together. You cannot be one-dimensional. You have to know your science, your math, your cultural spirituality. You have to know the stars. You have to read, write, speak, and teach Medu Neter. You have to be well-rounded, well-versed. This is just spirituality. It's what you have to pass down to your children. So they don't pass. So now let's put it together here. Because if you can't put it together, then you're just another Greek and another Roman. You have the picture for us, yes, Queen Mother. I'm trying to get this going. So now let's talk generically and scientifically and mathematically, and with solid liquids and gases. We know that the only thing that separates the sky from the earth is light. Because in the morning, when the sun rises, you see the sky. But when the sun sets at night, you don't see the sky no more. You see stars. At night, you see the universe. But when the sun rises again, you see the sky. What happened to the stars? And then when the sun sets, you don't see the sky, you see the stars. What happened to the sky? Have you ever asked yourself the question, where's the sky go? That means you're talking to you spiritually, you're talking generically, you're talking to a frequency now. This is a frequency. This is motion. This is movement. Okay, so now, Queen Mother, are you with us here? Schematic, PowerPoint. So what happens
here, Seba? I do not have that schematic.
The last one I said.
So what I'm doing right now is going to the previous one.
And I found you go. That one will work. Okay. Now, when you see this picture here with Nut the sky and Seb the earth, you're looking at sacred science and divine math and your cultural spirituality. And when you see this picture or this depiction, you're actually seeing 24 hours in every day, and 365 days is the second motion, the earth around the sun. Excuse me, family. You're actually seeing now is that there's nobody from Seb. So if nobody is separating Nut from Seb, that means mathematically that the earth has 24 hours in every day. Here's this picture here. That's supposed to be Kemu in the middle, separating Shu from Tef Nut. That's because right now this original calendar is a solar calendar. The first motion is 24 hours and 35 minutes, and the 35 extra minutes is split between the Duat and the Twat. That means the second motion is 360 days in the orbit of the Earth around the Sun. And there are 6 forms of life. Animals, birds of life, animals. Another form of life is so Seth and this one have children. And so
Steve, I think you're static on your side.
Am I okay here? Are you all right? I was going to talk to you. The Matrix has taken over control of our operations. The CIA and the FBI have shut us down on audio.
Yes, Steve, it's just on your side.
It's on my side, yes.
It's better now.
The Kwame was just. Am I okay now?
Yes, Steve.
Okay, so this picture here this is a mathematical equation showing you that the Earth has 360 days in a year because somebody is separating Nut from Seb, which means Seb and Nut cannot have children. This means the first motion of the Earth is 24 hours and 35 minutes. The second motion of the Earth is 20. It rotates on its axis 24 hours and 35 minutes. 35 minutes split between the Duat and the Twat. Second movement is it revolves around the sun because there's 60 days. And this means that the Earth still is tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical, which makes it wobble 26,000 year phenomenal precession. Here we're deducing, we're going into its lowest common denominator right now using Medunetta symbols, which you should be able to look at and equate this mathematically, scientifically with your cultural spirituality. So now, at this point here, Seb, the Earth that they're laying down there, is petitioning Jehuti. Static again? That his mate Nut, the sky goddess, could give birth to the Earth while was unrelenting. It was known that the great company of gods and goddesses would often gather and engage in games of chance. Ra was in need of something to give name to she had allowed to evolve in this way. See, he was beginning to grow old from the beginning to be. He raised was raised between God and Yuki. The woman does nothing. Yuki would name all the forms of life pride, love, while to Ralu, and this is just between the what the way that is Lord his prize. The 35 minutes of time he gained control of, leaving an exact cycle of 24 hours, 10 months, 4 weeks, 9 days, totaling 360. The 35 minutes would multiply by 360, total 5.25 days. They added on to a year that still had 8,766 hours. The question now is, how can our most earliest ancient African indigenous primordial ancestors add 5.25 days and not have a leap year? This also clarifies the final uses of the moon in our calendar. If you recall that on the zodiac of Dedra, there are mention of the Epagamo days, or the Red Pet, the ancient Egyptian New Years. These are the days that were gained by Lord Jehuti. The 5.25 days that were added on to the 360-day Earth orbit are the days that the Earth Netches were born. And the Ptah Asar Ancient Rasaurian solar system calendar and a meteorological star timeline, they are visible in the month of Ptah, with the moon going through its phases, signaling the sighting of the star subject in the 5.25 days of observance until the star grid aligns again, starting the new year. These 5 1/4 days are accounted for by fasting, prayer, meditation, festival, celebration, and observance. Every second of the orbit of the Earth is accounted for in that singular revolution. There was no need for leap year. This is the understanding that was lost, stolen, and denied with the intervention of Julius Caesar and the Romans. It is obvious that the Romans dissected the Jerusalem calendar that is in use today, adding that names and interpretation and the concept of leap year. Remember, the word calendar originates from the Latin word calendar. That part of the legend comes from the MP3 audio recording that we give you. Anybody that has a calendar should have that recording, so they should have known. He's reading that from his dissertation for the dynamics and breakdown for the PowerPoints of the calendar. But this is where this applies at. Bring that picture, the schematic, back up with the Seb and the one without, and now the one without somebody in the middle, so that they can see the difference. So when you see these methods, you're able to see the. But there we go there. So when you see that calendar, that means that 5 children were born. These are the first ancestors, because there's nobody separating from Seb. That means the first motion of the Earth is 24 hours in every day. The second rotation movement is the rotation around the sun, which is 365 1/4 days. Okay, can everybody can see this? So now, days, the 5 Earth netches were born. These are the first ancestors, the 5 children of Nut, born of Nut and begotten of Seb, not Geb. Geb is Greek. Geb is how the British call the Earth Seb, Geb. The Germans call Seb. The Greek, the British calls him Geb, and the Germans call him Keb. But in Medunetta, in its primordial pronunciation and frequency of the resonance, is Seb. We know that the Earth is called Seb in Medunetta because you spell Seb backwards and Bes, and that means Bes, and Bes is fire. And we know that within the center of the Earth, there's a ball, multicore of lava, a multicore of fire inside of the Earth. So we know that Seb is the proper pronunciation because as above, so below, and as it is related, it's a mirror reflection. So these are the 5 children that she's showing you now that were born from the womb of Nut and begotten of Seb. Their names, the firstborn is Heru-ur. The next born is Asar. The next born is Sut. The next born is Ast. And the next born is Nebhet. Now, in the Asar set society with our men, if you look at his cosmogony and his Mickey Mouse predictions of our, I'm not here to digress or talk about anybody, but I'm not, you're violating. You're pimping. I got no time for violators on my watch. Round up our men's cosmology. Just go to YouTube and look at it. The Nut has 4 children. He doesn't even know about Heru-ur. So if he has 4 children, if Nut and Seb has 4 children, then that means there's only 364 days in the year. And that means that the mathematical equation has been corrupted. That means the frequency has been broken. Do you understand? The frequency is a cosmic vibration, and we got people who are teaching how to become mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slavery under false pretenses, and they're making millions of dollars, placing us into more bondage than what the colonizers are putting us in. It's called Hidihara. It's called divided loyalties. It's called contraband. Black people conditioning other black people into mental, physical, spiritual, subjugated slavery. Don't get me upset. Don't get me started because I'm a military priest. I'm a military Mtepi. I'll go OG, NG, or priestly. I'll take it anywhere you want to go. Here's up, this down, across the Wizard. I'll bring your cosmic Mizaga, Swizaga. I'll talk any language, any way you want to communicate. We will communicate in your terms of fashion. But we will not accept violations. I don't care who you are. I'm calling you out. I'm calling out all teachers who are violators, who don't know the concept of self-creation, who don't know how to tell time, who do not know how to produce the livid. What are you teaching our people? You obviously are agents of the government. I'm calling you out. I don't care. Bring them to me. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm at the Museum of the National Center of African Artists at the Royal Burial Chamber of Nesu Bitti Sba-t. I reconstruct reconstructed the only reconstructed ancient royal burial chamber in America is in Roxbury, Boston, Mass, at the Museum of the National Center of Afro American Artists. We had the Wall-Renenut there. We just did the Red Pet last the year 69 days ago. We performed out the yard because of coronavirus. We couldn't go inside. But if you want to talk to me, come down to the museum, and we will go into the halls of double right and double truth, for the soul is purged of all sins, and we will see the faces of all the natural rules and pronounce the Usa Medu Nefea. Let us take your heart and place it upon the scale. There's the tune room right there. I created this tune room 35 years ago. 35 years ago. It's been there. It's been like Amen. Amen in Medu Neta means the hidden one. They've been hiding this. You could go in this tune room and find immortality. Well, I'm there now. We're having shows there. We're going to be broadcasting out of there. We're going to show you the breakdown of dynamics and the geometric dynamic proportions and the macro and the micro aspects of that dimensions of that tune room. It's a macro microcosm of the universe. And at the bottom part, there are niches in the wall, 9 niches, represent the 9 days, and there's the entrance is 10, which means the 10 months of the year. The whole calendar is superimposed inside there. But anyways, bring your teachers to me. Don't send me your students, because I got other students for you. Okay, I got students that's performing your Hesse. They can't even engage me. I am not a hair trigger. I'm a humble servant. But first, you have to tell me what time it is. You have to perform your Hesse. You have to perform your Saku. And you better not come in there talking about Ashe. I asked the ancestor permission to speak and take out a little bottle. I don't work no more. I worked in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, and maybe in the 2000s. But we're in the new age order of the great golden age of Ptah Asar. We just flipped through 2 great ages. The golden lotus of the great golden age has opened. And this is a new age order star gospel, the self-creation of Ra Never Teshira. And so if your teacher or your Sba cannot equate or relate to these rules of engagement, she will be embarrassed. Please don't come down there if you're not prepared. I got students to wipe you out. Okay? We're here to survive together, collectively, on spiritual revelations of the new age star gospel, in which we receive the powers of the universe. Here's part of the tomb room right here. I perform Hesses, and I perform the Red Pets and the solstices and equinox. The brothers in New York, the Khemetic brothers in New York, all of them. I'm not going to mention no names. They know who they are. They don't talk to me. They don't engage with me. They don't even buy a calendar. They tell me that Ptah is Suto. Ptah is fraudulent, but they have defamed my name and character assassinations. Everyone. I was on the Shock Metaphysics Virtual Khemetic School. They defamed my name there. But I'm not going to go into it now. But if you want to bring it up, tell them to come on this program. We can talk about it. Let's discuss it. None of the Sebas will come on this show and talk to me. Or you have the RSGUT, the Rasaurian Star Grand Unification Theorem. E plus P equals L. E is energy, and Medu Neta is Nur, plus P is power, and Medu Neta is Usa, equals L, which is Ankh, life, which equals being, which I have had this equation for over 40 years in my book, The Cosmic Egg, aka The Primeval Journey of 59 plus 21 zeros, which obviously it actually is a semi-mirror mirrored image reflection of Gij, J equals 0 with Dr. Gabriel Evil's mathematical equation of the Gaget, God Almighty Grand Unification Theorem, in which I just spoke to him the other day, and hopefully me and him will be on the program together. Me and Dr. Gabriel Evil might be discussing on our great brother, our great Sba Clemson Brown from Tap Videos, from Transatlantic Production. This great brother has documented all the great Sebas from Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben. There he is right there. That's my Sba from Tap Video. His name is Clemson Brown. He has documented all his life. He has documented Asa Helia, Ivan Van Sertimore, Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Professor Leonard Jeffries, and he's still videotaping. He traveled with everybody he traveled and videoed and documented the trip to Africa through the Pan-African movement and the Pan-African Conference. He is the brother who documented this all his life. They called him up and said, listen, we ain't got no dough for you, but we got a ticket in the hotel room. We need you. We need you, Clemson. Clemson says, I'm here for you. They took him around the world, and he just kept the cameras rolling. He documented it. He has all the footage of all the information. We're going to be on his show this Sunday. We're going to be doing a documentation on the relationship of the Dogons and the star and its cosmology and its relationship to our cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality and the concept of self-creation. Because all of it has to fit together. The Dogons, the Hutu, the Twa, the Bantu in South Africa, the Congolese, the Ethiopian, the Sudanese, the Kemet, they're all one people. The Cambodia, the Nagas, in South America, the Eskimos, all over the planet. The same people doing the same thing all the time. So where did the corruption come in? And they separated us, took our time from us, and had us from being the first to the last. But as above, so below. So they thought that they could fragment. They took all the noses off, all the statues all over the planet, chipped all the lips off. And every time they chipped off the lips and broke the nose, here comes another storm. Here comes another tidal wave, landslide, and lo and behold, another black man, a black woman comes out the mountain, another statue, another city is the wind blows in Kemet, the sand blows, and another statue is found with the big African nose on it, the big African lips. And this is all over the world. They can't hide the truth today. It's all being revealed today. As above, so below. And we're down to an hour 51. We're down to our last 9 minutes. I think I didn't even come to the conclusion of the 3 hours. Break it all down. It takes time. It's a process. I came on slow. And but you know, my name is Ptah Asar, I'm the royal scribe, master craftsman, keeper Tep, and I am here at the behest of our great queen mother goddess, Ast Maat Tf Nut, and we are broadcasting on the Naga Ship Association's telecommunication media platform and the Naga Ship Institute with our great Sba Duncan G, who is in control of all of the technical support within the creativity is done by our great Sba, the young master Duncan G. Our astrological engineer is Ramu Tef Queb. My name is Ptah Asar. I'm just a humble servant of the light. I'm just here to help you remember. I don't want no accolades. I don't make no praise for me. I don't want no firing squad. Don't put the bullets on me, okay? Okay, don't zero that red beam on me, okay? And we have the great queen mother goddess Ast Maat Tf Nut, who is in charge of telecommunications and multimedia of the Naga Ship Association, which is part of and it's institutes of the Naga Ship. And so we are here, and we're going to have Duncan G right now is developing our websites, which we're going to produce these online teachings, because nobody's going back to school. Going back to school in person is a done deal. This coronavirus, everything is going to be done virtually now. Everything's going to be online, so you better get your game together. They're going to make it so you don't even know nothing. They got this whole thing set up, this whole new world order. They're going to put the chip in your hand, and they got the vaccine, which is going to kill you. The chip is going to kill you, and then they got one global currency. So you're going to think that you're still hustling and got your little side thing going on, but you can't spend because you got to put your hand up to the machine to get your dough. That's going to create the underground. Everybody's going to be like just like in the movies. But guess what? They have a new world order. We have a new age order of the great golden age of Tf Nut. We're going to roll right over this, but you have to embrace how to relate to cosmic time, to cosmic frequency. You have to be able to produce the cosmic thought, the cosmic revelation, the star gospel, the concept of self-creation. This is what we're here to do. This is called the precious treasure, immortality. you think immortality is? You was born with immortality. They stole your immortality at your birth. That's how slick the game is. They're predatorial. They violated you from your birth. First of all, you was born with a birth certificate as a prisoner of prisoner of war of maritime law of the Corporation of the United States of America. So that birth certificate makes you property. Yeah, you've been sold on the open market since your birth. There is a corporation, and you are a prisoner of war. Then the second of all, they put you in the Gregorian chronological timeline. So that means that if January the 1st, hypothetically speaking, 2001 is on a January, is on a Monday, 2002 is on a Tuesday, 2003 is on a Wednesday, 2004 is on a Thursday, and then there was a leap year, so it's on a Saturday. It's a perpetual calendar. That means after 7 years, the star that was in the sky at your birthday is not there on your birthday. It's not your birthday because the star's not there. They stole the star of your birthday at your birth. They're not playing games. You're playing games. Loading up at the casino with a deck of Uno cards, trying to play blackjack. You're playing football on a tennis field. You're playing golf on a base basketball field. You got to be on a grid. You got to be playing. You got to be playing with a full deck of cards, or you're not in the game. We're not in the game. And I got your teachers telling me that we don't need a calendar. Do you know every great civilization who comes to the global table has a calendar? You can't show up to the table looking for your sovereignty and to become an independent country, and you don't even know how to tell time. It's a state of retardation. So your teachers are playing the double standards here. And I'm calling all your teachers out. That's right. I'm calling all your teachers out. They don't know how to tell time. They're going to start their program up. I'm going to mention no name. I'm going to mention one name, Jabrari. Brother Reggie said, don't leave Jabrari alone. Now I got to take him, Reggie. I got to go after him. Jabrari starts his shows off. Oh, welcome to the Center of Restoration of Maat. And welcome to this Sunday's broadcast. Here he is, right off the rip. Right off the rip. He Hellenized and lobotomized you with the Gregorian chronological timeline. That is a frequency breaker. That is a frequency break because we're dealing with frequencies, first frequency specifically. It's a cosmic vibration. So why would somebody who's about complementing your spirituality would Hellenize your mind with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, when we know that's Gregorian chronological timeline? That's a 7-day week Gregorian calendar. We know Sunday is African, and we know Monday is African. So he would get away with Sunday because maybe say Sunday is Rod Day. You can smooth it over with a little pimp game, and you might be able to weasel your way out of it. Ain't no weasel weighing your way out of it if you use that even that Sunday. It's either Rod's Day or it's not Rod's Day. Now let's say Tuesday. Tuesday is the Roman goddess Twi, and Tuesday in Spanish or Latin is Mates, and Mates is on a planetary level is Mars. Then comes Wednesday. Wednesday we go from Rome, we go to Norwegian to Norway to the Vikings, and Wednesday is Woden. Woden is Odin, and Wednesday in Spanish is Mercules, and Mercules becomes Mercury. Then we have Woden has a son named Thor. So we're still with the Vikings now. So when the Vikings rose up on England, they came down into the Mediterranean and they got their little play on. This should give us some. So they rolled up on the calendar. And so Woden has a son named Thor who becomes Thursday. And Thursday in Spanish is Weathers, and Weathers becomes Jupiter. Now we have from Thursday we go back to Rome to Friday. And Friday is Frigga. Google it. You're supposed to be scholars. You're supposed to be theologians. You're supposed to do your due diligence. Do your due diligence and Google Frigga and Friday, and you're going to see Frigga is the Roman goddess of conjunctural merriment. Friday is when they do the fortifications and the orgies, and they got Bacchus. Bacchus is the guy in the Fruit of the Loom with the grapes on his head. That's Bacchus. Bacchus got grapes on his head. He's the wine. The guy that got the wine. He's the intoxication. He got two flutes, and he runs around with Frigga, getting everybody drunk. They fornicate, it's Friday. It's Frigga. Frigga is the goddess of Roman conjunction of merriment. But you know, for Friday, what you do on Friday, you know, you make it rain. You know, you go down to the club and to the strip joints and get your freak on. That's Frigga. Where do you think freaks came from? Not Frigga. From Romans, that Romans thing. But let's get it together. Get your money to get the names of the days and weeks together so you can applicate it properly with conscious, cosmic cognitive consciousness, so that you can begin to applicate this in a generical manner, so that you can explain this to your children. You know, let your children think this is Monday, Sunday, Monday. Today's Thursday. You think today's Thursday? Today is excuse me. Today is the 69th day of the year, which means, and that's because the 69th day of the year after the Hellenistic rising, which means that there's 291 days remaining until Uben Sar is rising, which makes it the 33rd day of the second month of Renunut. It makes it the 4th day of Hapi, which makes it the 9th day of the 3rd month of the first season of Shemu. That's what we said that in our Hesi. We couldn't even begin to talk to you if we didn't know how to say that. So your Hesi, your Sba, which means teacher, and Sba also in Medinetta means student, because the student becomes the teacher. So if your teacher isn't teaching you to be the student to be the teacher, then you notice that everyone who learns this Kemetic nonsense, that they're always students all their lives. It doesn't work that way. In our cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality, the son becomes stronger than the father. The daughter becomes stronger than the mother. The student becomes stronger than the teacher. The student becomes the teacher. Just like in our cultural, cosmic, collective conscious, cosmological Septepi, the origins of existence and the creation and development of the universe, Ra Never Teshuvah became stronger than Nu, because we went from a state of energy, thought, feeling, and non-motion within the void of nothingness to energy, thought, feeling, and motion. All the creator did was began motion. So we went from perpetual continuance to continuous evolutions. That's all there is. There is no heaven. There's no hell. If you got a teacher talking about in the heavens this, he's Hellenizing you. If he says even mentions God, if anybody even brings up the word God, you're being Hellenized. You're being lobotomized. You're being conditioned. You're being tainted. You're frequent. It's a violation. And I don't care who you are. I don't care what your name is or what your accolades are. You bring these words up today in this new age order, the great golden age of Sba-t, and you will be addressed. You will be taken into the presence of the Ramech. I'm bringing them before the people. I'm bringing them to the people. I'm not judging them. I'm going to let the people judge with the Netra rules. I'm just here to make the meeting. I took that from Denzel Washington, Man on Fire. I'm only here to make the meat. Place your heart in the scale and let my heart balance it out. I got nothing to do with it. I'm just a humble servant. But this is my watch. I'm the keeper of cosmic time. And at 72, it takes 72 years for the sun to precess 1 degree. So the clock is moving clockwise. But the zodiac is going backwards. It's precessing. That's why it's called the phenomenon of precession or the precession of equinox. It's precessing. Okay? It takes 26,000 years to precess 1 great year. It's 26,000 years. In each year, a great year is 26,000 years. And within that great year, there's 12 signs, and each sign has 2,160 years. There's 12 signs. 12 times 2 is 24, and 1 is 25. It's up to 26,000 years. So we just came out of one age of Aquarius, which is Ma'at Tf of Pisces, which is Uncle Set. And in 2012, we are fully in the age of Ma'at Tf, which you know is Hellenization or European astrology as Aquarius. So you're living in 2 great ages right now. It's called the Golden Lotus. It's called the Lion's Gate. It's called Ulamak Keyor. Ulamak Keyor. And we're living in it right now. And they got you so drugged up. They got you on that food. They got your frequency so dormant that your pineal gland is sleeping. Your chakras are dormant because of your frequency. I'm here to open up some frequencies and channels through the concept of self-creation through the sacred science, the divine math, the cultural cosmic terms of spirituality, the cultural, the astrology, astronomy. We have absolute accountability as thou validated, because I don't want you to believe a word I just told you. I want you to know. I'm only here to help you to know, to remember, because you already know. You just don't remember. You got a case of memory loss. You got amnesia. You're under a spell, and it's easy to break the spell. To break the spell, all you gotta do is one thing: take down the Gregorian calendar from your wall. Take your watch off your hand, off your arm. You got a $25,000 Rolex on your arm. You better pawn it and get that dough, or just give it to somebody, because you've been Hellenized, lobotomized. You're on GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. Please Google it. You're on UTC. You're on Universal Time Coordinated. That means you're under Stonehenge, England, which is 52 parallels north of the equator. They took over the planet and moved the center of the earth to Stonehenge. It's called Greenwich Mean Time. And the Korean people and the Japanese people have just came up with a law that they will not longer use Greenwich Mean Time, because the government doesn't use Greenwich Mean Time. NASA doesn't use Greenwich Mean Time. They use ZT, Zulu time. So the government uses, the Army uses ZT, Zulu time. NASA, that goes interplanetary, uses Zulu time. Nobody uses GMT or UTC but enslaved, mental incarcerated people. So the Korean people say, listen, we ain't these melanated people you got incarcerated, even though with the first Korean government, the first Korean king on the suit was black. The first Japanese emperor was black. The first Naga, it was all black. They all come from us, but right now they're ganged up against us. They're all part of the conspiracy. But they said, listen, we're not using that time. That time is used to control people's minds into sheep. So you have to recognize the essence of time and how cosmic time. And we're just about over the 2-minute mark. Do you have any? So remember, we are here at the Precious Treasure. This was just a drive-by today. We wanted to give away calendars. I woke up late. I had a bad morning. I got up late, studied all night. Then I had to pay bills and think about it. I took me a power nap. I woke up 5 minutes after 7 o'clock, so I started slow. We wanted to give away calendars, free calendars, to answer questions, which we'll do this Thursday if the Queen Mother Goddess wishes it. I am at her humble beckons. I am here just to follow the Queen Mother Goddess's instructions. I am just an instrument of her commands. I bow down to the Queen Mothers, to my great Queen Mother, our most revered and honorable Queen Mother Goddess, Ast Maat Tf Nut. I have followed her instructions with her feminine energy, and I shall say to her, do we have anybody that has any more questions out there? Did the chat room freeze up? Did the brains freeze up in the chat room? The little Gerber running around, the little brains needed some oxygen. Do we have any questions? Anybody have any questions? Mother?
No
Who just laughed? Did the little one just laugh in the background too?
Yes, Stephen.
I know she did. She loves it. I love her too. So, we have anyone with any questions before we close out this 2-hour show? Remember, this week, this Sunday coming up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, me and the Queen Mother will be on Transatlantic Productions TAP videos with our Sba, Clemson Brown, our great Sba, Clemson Brown. You must tune in to him, and you must go into his archives if you want to hear about his documentations of Ivan Van Sertimore, Dr. Professor Henry Clark, Dr. Ben, Asa Helia, all the great and Queen of Foley, all the great teachers, Francis Cress Welsing. He has her documented as well. Okay, so if you want to hear all the great elders who have transitioned, who I have nothing but honor and respect for my elders, and especially our transition elders. And also, I'm dedicating this show again to our great transition Sba, Hedi Kafra, the Hem Tepe, the high priest of the White and Gold Lotus Temple, Stone Mountain, Georgia, and his great Hemet, Aset Mary Amen. That is Hedi Kafra right there. That's Dr. Ben behind him. He used to lead Dr. Ben into when Dr. Ben comes to do a dissertation or a presentation, he was led into it by the high priest, Hedi Kafra. He is the high priest of the White and Gold Lotus Temple, shrine of Amun Ra in Stone Mountain, Georgia today. He has transpired. He transitioned last year. So we are dedicating these chandeliers. He is there. And that is the Queen Mother Goddess Ast Maat Tf. I want to pay my tribute to this great Sba who dedicated his entire life to the uplifting of our African spirituality and to the teaching of the Medu Neter and to the frequencies of sounds and vibrations and of the teachings of healing to the White and Gold Lotus Temple, Shrine of Amun Ra, Udamakeyo, Udamakeyo, the Lion of the New Dawn. And I shall say the words, no, I shall give it back to the Queen Mother. For those who want to buy calendars, give them the link if you want, or you can do what you would like to express at this time, Queen Mother. This is on you.
Dua, Usiga. So, before you joined us, I had shared with everyone that we would give them possibly the opportunity to answer a question, and so they can receive their own calendar. So if anyone missed the briefing, I'm going to ask a question at this time after I'll give you the briefing. Be prepared to share with me your email address so you can receive the free PDF of the Cosmic Egg. Also, be prepared to share your mailing address. So tomorrow I will ship you your calendar. The PDF and the audio you will receive today. So this is my email address to contact me to share that information with me. So the question for today is, how many days are in a week? You have your calendar. If not, it's okay because we've shared the answer as I said we would.
Yes.
So that's the question. We will need the answer to come in before we end the broadcast. Sba, do you have any questions you would like to present to everyone so they can have an opportunity by your question to get a free calendar?
Yes. If anyone can answer, what are the three motions of the earth? If you can answer what the three motions of the earth are. Oh, somebody said 9 days. All right, Facebook user, you got to come up with a name. We're not going for none of that. You can't be a student. You can't be a student. You can't be an underground student.
See, this is StreamYard.
Okay, you got
the StreamYard sometimes. Huh? They have a name. The StreamYard sometimes bring them in as Facebook users. It's StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
Now, okay. Sba, we have the rules for the Sebas of Tesha Para not participating.
Yeah, they're not allowed to participate. No, okay. Nobody in the classes, none of my students are allowed to participate. Nobody in the classes who studies under me can participate. This is for the Ramech, for the people who are seeking to find their immortality in the divine birthright through the precious treasure. The mathematical equation today is, what are the three motions? The mathematical and scientific equation of the day is, what are the three motions of the earth? If anybody can answer that within the next, however long it takes for us to, what is the 3 months? The three motions, but yes, that is the question. What are the three motions of the earth? Motion is a requirement in the separating of the collective energy contained within the motionless code void, such as the primeval. I'm talking cosmically now, just as word. As I'm waiting for somebody to come up with the answers, I'm just making sure we keep the frequency going. And so we have to understand the cosmic story at the same time. But that's the question: is what are the three motions of the earth? and I will give you a free autographed calendar. Rotates, revolves, and wobbles. Facebook user. We will accept that. But what it rotates. The that is a yes, 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 yes. Three good answers for a class answer. We will accept that. But it rotates. So if you was in my class and you said it rotates and revolves and it wobbles, I was going to ask you how much time does it take to rotate? So you got to give me a mathematical equation. So that mathematical equation is 24 hours and 35 minutes. We already discussed that. And that means the second it wobbles, it revolves. That means if it's 24 hours and 35 minutes, it revolves 360 days. And then if it rotates 24 hours in a day, that means it revolves 365 and a quarter days, which means the first one is solar, the second one is lunar. Second one is sidereal, and which means that there are 6 forms of life on the planet if it rotates 24 hours and 35 minutes and it revolves at 360 days. And there's 7 forms of life if it rotates at 24 hours in a day and 365 and a quarter days. There's 7 forms of life. Remember? Plant, insects, reptiles, water creatures, birds that fly, animal, and man and woman. The hence came the 5 children who are the first ancestors of Newton 7. So you are correct. We will accept that. I would like to know who you are
And
anyway.
that's Kathleen Williams.
Who?
Kathleen Williams, she's in my Facebook group. Karma did what? She answered
Oh
both
yeah,
questions.
well, she's definitely getting a calendar autographed. That was Dua Queen Mother Goddess Panata Pamaat Ogwas the Jet Ogu Jasanem Ubenefikir Panabu Heru Ati to you, my great Queen Mother Goddess. That answer is correct. The 3 motions of the earth, it rotates, it revolves around the sun, and it wobbles. It's tilted 23.5 degrees from vertical, which makes the earth wobble. And one wobble is 26,000 years, and the and the cherry on the top of the pie is that's called the phenomenon of precession or the precession of equinox. This is what gives you your immortality, which are mentally, spiritually, and physically through the cultural, cosmic, collective conscious spirituality of our ancestors by understanding the motions of the cosmos. So this has been a wonderful presentation we did today, Queen Mother Goddess. I would like to say, in the words of our paternal father, or make sure you get make sure she gives you her
I have her
address
information.
and ship address so I can send that to you. And
I'll send it to you.
oh, okay, don't worry. Whichever way, she'll get it. She'll get all 3. She'll get the MP3 audio recording. She'll get my book, The Cosmic Gag, aka The Primeval Germ, a journey of 59 plus 21 zeros, and she will get an personal autograph copy of me from me and the Queen Mother. And I would like to say to the rest of the Ramech as we close this presentation of the Nagaship Association's telecommunications and multimedia broadcast with the great Queen Mother Goddess, our great revered honorable Queen Mother Goddess, Ast Maat Tf Nut, and I am your humble servant, Anuk Ptah Asar. I am Ptah Asar. I would like to say in closing that in the words of our great divine paternal father, Asar Unefa Kenti Menti, within the whole of the universe, nothing is ever added and nothing is ever lost. This is the Queen Mother Goddess Ast Maat Tf Nut and Ptah Asar saying, Atumra Pro Tep. I give the platform to you to close the show, Queen Mother.
The show is closed, Siwa.
Oh, it's closed?
We'll see you
Okay.
all next time. Dua, dua.